Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Facebook Live. Hello, hello, hello. I'm Gina Page. I'm the president and co-founder of African Ancestry.com. I know it's kind of dark in here, but we don't have any, we can't figure out the lighting situation. I don't know. So hopefully you can see me. So hello, and welcome all of you who are joining us. Isaki, good to see you. Thank you for being here tonight. We have something a little different that we're going to do tonight. I'll get to that shortly, but I usually start by telling you all what I've done. Hey, Dante. Okay, you're awaiting your results. Where do you think you're going to be from? Any ideas? Let me know in the comments where you think you're going to be from. So last week, we did a head wraps and heels mixer with Ashley Company of Jelani Women and Jelani Girls. And some of you came out. It was very nice to meet some of you who are part of the African Ancestry family. I think everyone had a great time. They learned how to wrap their heads in all different sorts of styles, and it networked with each other and learned a lot about Jelani Girls. If you'd like to learn more, please see our Facebook Live broadcast from last week. That was November, what was that? November 1st. No, October 31st was our last one. Hello, Abio. Dante, you hopefully are from Cameroon. There's a good chance. Cameroon is one of the countries we find the most often. So shout out to everyone who joined us for the head wraps and heels mixer. Jelani Women are actually on their first trip of the season in Egypt right now. So we wish them safe travels and a great time. We also had a representation at the Diaspora Roadshow, and that was an event that was about buying Black, hiring Black, and giving Black. And so that was a great success as well. We're celebrating an Independence Day this week. So the country of Angola is celebrating its independence on November 11th. That's Sunday. And that's all I know about that. Does anybody know the capital of Angola? I'm curious. I think I know. I think Angola had the first Black Miss Universe. I think she was the first Black Miss Universe came from the country of Angola. Hey, Gina, welcome to the broadcast. Thank you for being here today. There's some other things I want to share with you. I'm just going to do it at the beginning and then I'll do it again at the end. Hey, Prince, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Tremanisha, Luanda, that was what I was thinking. Okay, so I do think the capital of Angola is Luanda. Thanks. You have my back, girl. Thank you very much. We were talking about November 11th. Joseph, you checked back in from Los Angeles. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. On November 9th, I'm going to Houston, and I'm going to be participating in the Sister Locks Conference. I'll be speaking there on a panel, and I get the opportunity to meet Dr. Cornwell, an amazing woman who created the Sister Locks technique for locking your hair. She patented the device that the consultants use to create the locks. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Hey, Pamela, nice to see you. And so I'm going to be in Houston. And so I decided, since I'm going to be in Houston on Friday, I don't have anything to do Friday night. I'm going to post up at this beautiful wine and art bar called Ogun. And Ty's going to give me the address, but I hope that you all can come through. If you're watching and you're in Houston, or if you have friends in Houston, please come through, because my team convinced me to do this. And I was like, I don't know if anybody's going to come. So y'all gotta come, so I'm not sitting there by myself drinking wine. It's on Studemont Street. You'll see the post on our Facebook page, but I'll be there Friday, November 9th from 6 to 7. And if you live in Houston and you haven't been to that spot, you definitely need to come through because it's beautiful. On Saturday, I'll be at the Sister Locks conference, and then I'm going from Houston to Philadelphia. So we're doing 2 events in Philly on Sunday, and you're all invited. If you're watching us from Philly, the video has not started yet, Nashua. If you're watching us from Philly, if you're watching us and you live in Philly, then I invite you to come out to Greater St. Matthew's Baptist Church. It's on Wingo-Hockin Street. We're going to be revealing the pastor of that church, Pastor Stephen Avinger, at 2:00. So following their service, they go to church for a long time, y'all. They're going to be in there from, I think, 11:30 or 11 to 1:30 or 2. And then we're going to give a whole presentation. I'm bringing some of our team members out, and test kits are going to be available. And what's exciting about this event is everybody who takes the test with the church at that event will be able to participate in this African family reunion that we're helping to host. We're co-hosting in Philadelphia in February. So you all have to stay tuned for that. And then we're going to follow that with another event that is co-sponsored Sunday afternoon by AR Club 55. And shout out to Sandy and to Sandy Williams and Nazim Curtis. We have partnered with their organization to help everybody get excited about being African. So I will be in Houston and Philly this weekend. So I invite you all to come through. I would love to say hello, get to meet you other than just through Facebook. Ray says he has a birthday on November 11th. Well, happy birthday, 11/11. That's a cool date. I know Simone in our office, she likes to notice when it's 11:11 in the morning. All right, so we have something different for you all today. There is a member of the African Ancestry family named Duane Bradford, and he's been talking it up in the online community. And so we wanted to share some of what he has to say with you all, but he's in California, and so he's at work right now, and we couldn't do the Facebook Live with him at 7. So our Uber producer, Ty, stayed up late last night and recorded a broadcast with him, and so I'm going to share that with you now. So here we go. Oh no, that's not going to work. Are you doing it, Ty?
Hello, Facebook family. This is your Uber producer, Ty Brooks, here for our Facebook Live broadcast. We are pre-recording with our special guest today because he is on the West Coast. We are on the East Coast, and he would not be able to make our regular live broadcast, but we thought that the information that he was going to provide to us today was so important that we wanted to pre-record his participation. So I would like you to welcome Mr. Duane Bradford, whose African name is Baye, to the broadcast. Hello, Mr. Bradford. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Or should I call you Baba? Should I call you Baye? How should I address you?
Whatever you're most comfortable with.
Okay. Well, I may go interchangeable. Okay.
That's fine.
As you all know, that we have a private group for all African ancestry test takers, and he posted about Nakumbuka Day, and quite a few of the African ancestry online community members were interested. So I wanted to have him on the show to talk to us about Nakumbuka Day, which is coming up, correct?
That is correct, November 11th.
Yes. So can you tell us a little bit, what is Nakumbuka Day? Can you tell us about that?
Nakumbuka Day is our memorial to our ancestors globally, especially for the transatlantic slave trade, also known as the Ma'afa, And for our brothers and sisters who are also kidnapped and taken into the Middle East on the east coast of Africa. So Nakumbuka Day represents our remembering of our ancestors once a year and the horrific experience that they had in order for us to be here today.
Can you tell us about how did it get started and when did you first celebrate Nakumbuka Day?
Well, my wife and I had attended in Nigeria a Black Think Tank conference in 1992. We did some brainstorming with about at least 25 other African people from throughout the world, from Canada, Mexico, Nigeria, France, as well as Guinea-Bissau, and a few other countries. And one brother in particular, who's now an ancestor, Elder Mze Charles Roach, had brought the idea of Nakumbuka Day to the conference because it had been given to him by a brother in Toronto who was from East Africa. And it had been his idea to come up with this concept where Brother Mze Charles Roach presented it to us while we were in Baghdad, Nigeria. And we all agreed at the end of the conference that we would take it back to our various countries and begin to develop the process of Nakumbuka Day. So we started our actual Nakumbuka Day in 1994, the first one to be generated in the United States.
Is Nakumbuka Day catching on in the United States? I understand it was founded in Canada and it came out of the Brain Trust, but is it starting to pick up some notoriety? Are people becoming more interested in Nakumbuka Day on American soil or around the world?
You know, it's difficult to tell. It probably has a history that started somewhat like Kwanzaa as an obscure observance, but we've been able to, I know for a fact that we have brothers and sisters in Brazil that we're in communication with the Pan-African Association Facebook page that we have, who are well aware of Nakumbuka Day and who are instituting it in Brazil. I'm not even certain whether or not it has continued in Toronto, Canada, because once Mze Charles Roach became an ancestor, I lost kind of some contact with that. But I also know that it's been observed in other parts of California because it's not something that people post about. I'm not really certain how many people actually know about it and how many have actually observed Nakumbuka Day.
If I wanted to commemorate Nakumbuka Day, how would one go about doing so?
Well, you know, what I had done with the African Ancestry Family is print some, or should I say, post some material on how Nakumbuka Day can be celebrated as a community process. We developed a ceremony that's a little bit complex and individuals would have to learn to study it to do a community one. But we also I have developed rather, family Nakumbuka Day ceremony, as well as one for individuals who may want to do it at work because they can't get away to do it at home. So we have several different various ways that an individual can observe Nakumbuka Day. And some of them are quiet. As a matter of fact, I've gone out this year to all of our members of the PAAA Facebook who practice indigenous African spiritual systems, and I have encouraged them to incorporate a Nakumbuka Day ceremony for November 11th into their traditional spiritual systems.
Nakumbuka Day for us in 2018 will actually be this Sunday. And so is there a way that if someone is not a part of the African Ancestry online community, is there somewhere they can go to get more information, to download ideas of how to commemorate? Is there a community calendar?
There are no community calendars to my knowledge. The only thing I can do is maybe have some contact information where I could send the information to the individual, maybe through email, or if there's some way that members of the African Ancestry family could find a way to cut and paste it and provide it to other people. That's one way to, those are two different ways that it could be done, but there are no community postings of any kind to my knowledge.
Okay, well, we definitely can do our part and share some links or at least put a place for people to download some information about how to commemorate it. I understand that Nakumbuka is a Swahili word meaning I remember, which is apropos for the celebration. But overall, knowing that we hear a lot about the maafa, which means, is another Swahili word for the traumatic or just the treacherous time period in which our ancestors went through. But overall, why is Nakumbuka Day important?
Nakumbuka Day is one of those days that regardless of how much we disagree about everything, one thing we have in common is the pain and horrible conditions that our ancestors came to this country in, regardless of whether we profess, regardless of what our political ideologies are, regardless of what the religions are that we identify with, regardless of what region of the United States we come from, regardless of what our lifestyle is, we have that one common thing that we all came from these ancestors who suffered and endured a horrendous, inhumane experience that we cannot even begin to wrap our minds around, that we need to pay tribute to. And that there's one thing we can agree upon is that happened. And we are hoping that at least once a year, regardless of what our other disagreements are, we can get together and observe what had happened to our ancestors as a way of getting closer to our ancestors and letting them know that we recognize in public what they experienced on that awful journey that they took in so many different types of slave ships into the Western Hemisphere.
How does your African ancestry experience overlay with things like Nakumbuka Day, like celebrating the Independence Day of the countries in which we found your ancestry? Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well, I'm a longtime Pan-Africanist. I mean, I was introduced to Black nationalism and Pan-Africanism in 1960 when I was a child. My parents, father and mother, left the United States in 1963, and we moved to Mali and Senegal and lived there for 3 years as they taught English and PE. Africa became such a part of me that it's only a natural identity for me. I always tell people, you can drop me off anywhere in the continent and I will be comfortable. Since coming back to the States in 1967, I've gone back to the motherland a few other times. I mean, I've been to Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, and I plan on going back again. So it was like the African ancestry testing was a natural process for me to pursue in my personal life story in the first place. It was just, for me, it was extremely special because I know we're always claiming as African people, well, you look like you might be Hausa, you look like you might be Bambara, you look like this. And then I could have a test that could tell me exactly what my DNA was, and I wouldn't have to guess about it anymore.
Would you like to share with the audience what your results were?
Yes, my father's lineage goes back to the Bamileke Hausa people in the Cameroon, which is interesting. And my mother's people, her DNA origins are the Mende people in Sierra Leone. and you look at a map of West Africa, and you find it interesting that my parents, who come from two different parts of the western part of Africa, would end up with me as being the result of their lineage coming together from two different parts of Africa.
Well, before I let you go, I wanted to thank you first for your patience in getting with us to talk about Nakumbuka Day, and also wanted to know if you wanted to share any final thoughts, any last words, and anything that will interest people in first learning more about Nakumbuka Day, and also, like, I think about my first Kwanzaa experience where I had to do a lot of reading, a lot of, I wanted to make sure that I was commemorating the holiday in a way that was respectful. So what are some small things that people can look for? Is there a website that people can look for information?
One thing I can say to my fellow brothers and sisters on African ancestry is that one time I had a chance to ask a African shaman from Burkina Faso, how could I go about correctly praising my ancestors when I did not know my traditional rituals and ceremonies that were from Africa, for wherever I might be on the African continent. And he told me basically anything you do that shows love to your ancestors, how you show it is good enough, because they will hear you because of your sincerity, not because of your ritual, your knowledge of ritual and ceremony. So that being said, it's important for African people to understand that whatever little bit of information you can get on Nakumbuka Day, all you have to do is participate. The ancestors are with you in the first place. And any attempt to remember them and bring them into your home is a blessing for you, regardless of how you do it. There's no such thing as an incorrect process to the ancestors. It may be incorrect for human beings, but not so for the ancestors, so long as the heart is true, which is something they can see regardless of how many rituals and ceremonies you do. There are things that you can also do. You can research slave ships. You can research auction blocks. You can research those places anywhere along the eastern seaboard as well as in the south. You can call out the names of those during your Nakumbuka Day ceremony. You can wear ash in your forehead. You can wear white clothing. Doesn't all have to be white, but something white. You can do all of these things, and then you can sit down together and remember how much pain that our ancestors have gone through, and yet they did not die off, they became stronger, and they multiplied into us.
I think that's a perfect way to end this segment. And so, Baye, Duane Bradford, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for thinking enough to share Nakumbuka Day with us. And to all of the African Ancestry family, we encourage you to learn more about Nakumbuka Day. And as Dewayne said, as long as you are sincerely honoring your ancestors, they will hear you. So think of ways that you can pay homage and pay tribute to those who survived the Ma'afa so that we could be here today. And with that, we're done for the day. So thank you again, Baye, Dewayne, and enjoy the rest of the broadcast.
That's right.
Okay, great job, Ty. Thank you for that. Ty's our correspondent, like on The Daily Show. You know how they throw it to different correspondents? She's our correspondent. Henry, okay, you want to know how to spell Nakumbuka. I'm going to spell it for you. Nakambuka. So we've been saying this all day. Oops, see, and I spelled it wrong. Okay, hold on. I've been saying it wrong. Nakumbuka. There you go. Nakumbuka is the day. And I think he gave some very good suggestions on things that we can do. It's very important for us to understand that we're the descendants of survivors and that we're not the descendants of victims. And all of those suggestions that he gave were very powerful. One that he didn't say that I think is particularly a good one that Ty has come up with is to create an altar. And there's an organization here in DC called Adasi. I'm putting the website up now. Adasi is an organization that can help you figure out how to create your own altar. And one of our family members, Wendy Cherry, she has a podcast called The Sanctuary. And she actually had someone from Adasi on. So there's a whole podcast you can listen to about how to create an altar from one of our own, Wendy Cherry. Another thing you could do is just some simple oral genealogy, interviewing your family members and asking them what they know. What does your grandmother know about her mother? What does your aunt know about your grandmother or your grandfather? You can honor your own close-in ancestors that way as well. And then there's this idea of water remembrance. So if you live somewhere warm, I don't know if you want to do that here in DC right now because it's getting kind of cold in the district. But you could go to a body of water, a lake, a river, a pond, the ocean, wherever you are, and then just meditate on the journey as Baye mentioned, and just reflect on that passage. So there are lots of different things that you can do to commemorate our ancestors. Now, the holidays are coming, and we're getting ready for the holidays here at African Ancestry. We start celebrating in November, and we go all the way through December 31st. So we don't stop at Christmas because we celebrate Kwanzaa here at African Ancestry. And so in the spirit of the holidays coming up, I'm going to do a trivia question. And the trivia question is this is such an easy. Oh, okay. I was reading it wrong. I was about to give you the answer. I was like, this is such an easy question. What is the meaning of the name of Angola? What is the meaning of the name of Angola? That's our trivia question for the next few minutes. The winner will get a $25 gift card, African Ancestry gift card. It's the first time we've given away a gift card. That's exciting. So I want you all to make sure you sign up for the mailing list because we'll be sharing what we're doing over the holidays, our promotions that we have, that sort of thing. And then if you're looking to have your results in time for Black History Month, then you want to get your test kit back to us, get your swabs back to us between November 26th and December 17th. I know a lot of people use an African Ancestry test and its results as a way to celebrate Black History Month in a new and more meaningful way with their families, with their kids. So it's something that children can do in advance, and then that's their Black History Month project. And we would love to support you in that. So make sure that if you want to do that, or if you're considering doing that, that you get your kit and you make sure you have your swabs back to us by December 17th. Okay, Fode came through. I think that's the answer, right? Angola is the name for king. Yep. Angola king. Okay, Angola Kiluangi. I don't know why I just tried to say that. Was the king of the Ndongo kingdom at the time that the Portuguese arrived into what we now consider Angola. So his name was Angola something. I don't want to butcher it. in honor of the ancestors. So Fode, shout out to you. You win an African Ancestry $25 gift card. And if you all don't know, we've had Fode on the Facebook Lives in the past. He is an expert in all things African and especially Sierra Leonean. So for all of you who want to know about Sierra Leone and you are part of the family, make sure you join the African Ancestry online community, and you can learn a lot from Fode. So again, if you're in Houston, come check me out on Friday evening for happy hour from 6 to 7. Or even if you have sister locks, come to the conference on Saturday. As you can see, I don't have sister locks, but I know a lot of people who do, and so that event is for you. And then if you're in Philly on Sunday and want to learn more about African ancestry, I'll be doing a presentation called Finding Your Wakanda and revealing the ancestry of Pastor Stephen Avenger. That's on Sunday at 2 o'clock at Greater St. Matthew's Baptist Church. I have posted the address for the church on the Facebook group, so you should be able to see it there. Okay, Henry has a question. Are the tests paternal or maternal? I'm extremely glad I took the test. Okay, you're right. You probably do have sneakers that cost more than a test kit. And we have both tests. We have a test that traces maternal ancestry, mother to mother to mother to mother, going back 500 to 2,000 years. And then we can trace your paternal ancestry with a paternal test. Now, only men can take that test. And that traces father to father to father on back 500 to 2,000 years. So this test is very different than what you see advertised on television. It just is. There are lots of ways that it's different, besides the fact that we get very specific to a present day country and ethnic group for African results. We also are able to do that because we have the largest database of indigenous African lineages in the world. If you check out our competition, our colleagues, as I like to say, the closest database to ours is 1,395 African samples. We have over 33,000 African samples. And then another point that people seem to be very excited about these days particularly is that we don't sell, share, or research your genetic information. So once we find out your ancestry, we're done. We don't store or research the actual genetic material. It is destroyed at the lab. Let's see. Are there any other questions? Anything that I can answer for you all? Henry, you also asked about finding out more about people who share ancestry with Gabon. If you go on to the online community, you got a lot of people in there who share ancestry with Gabon, and you can find that community here on Facebook. So if you just look up African Ancestry Online Community, you need your KIT ID number to join. Ty will approve you, and then you're good to go. And as a Gabon DNA trace descendant, you'll be happy to know that in 2 weeks, we're launching the Gabon pendant. So we will have an African Ancestry heirloom pendant for Gabon. You all have seen me talking about these pendants a lot. This one actually is Sierra Leone and Liberia. And, Ty, she wants to... They can't see. Ty has on her Sierra Leone pendant. I'm being attacked by the correspondent. So they're going to be we're going to have them in Gabon very soon, and Ghana. So Gabon and Ghana are coming down the pike. That's all that I have. If you all don't have any other questions, I want to thank you for your time this evening. Thanks again to Baye, Brother Duane Bradford. I'm sorry I couldn't meet you in person, but I'm sure you enjoyed talking to Ty, and I appreciate all the information that you shared with the African Ancestry community at large. So I will see you all again next week. Until then, have a good rest of the week. Bye-bye.